everybody.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Well, let's start the insanity.
It is the Weekly Yak. I'm way too loud.
Every day of your life.
Yeah. I'm Mac along with Mel.
Hey.
And Randy.
Hello.
There we go. That's better. I told you guys I'm not feeling too well, so we're going to go straight through this. We're not going to take a break. We're just going to go power through it here.
Power bottom through it.
Well, I guess if that's your way of looking at it. Yeah, we had, this was testing week at school.
Oh, no.
And the English test, standardized test, so it was 5 hours. It was the big one. So, and then plus I've been going to the dam and running, and the dam nature got to me.
That'll do it.
And there's a lot of stuff blooming right now because I guess we're into spring finally, and so it's just it's coming on. So I don't like getting sick, so I'm trying to. It's a preemptive strike, so I try to take a bunch of shit, and hopefully it minimizes the damage. But
I should have brought whiskey tonight. And just get that shit out of your system.
Take all the meds and hope for the best.
Yep.
Just we're not going to kill it. We just sort of like get some whiskey.
You better take a whole pack of Benadryl and pray your ass to sleep.
Just into a stupor. Yeah, Benadryl, and I take Benadryl sometimes to fall asleep. Actually, I don't know if that's frowned upon or whatever, but.
I feel like parents do that all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, good.
I mean, at least you're abusing it on yourself and not a child.
I'm not abusing it. I mean, sometimes, like if I know I can't, if I just wake up in the middle of the night, I can't go back to sleep. But just one, because I don't know if you've ever taken like more Benadryl than you thought you needed, and it feels like you're hungover almost. Like it's a weird. Like one time I took like a lot of doses. I took 2. And then, like, at about 8 o'clock and then about 11, I took 2 more.
Oh.
And, I woke up, like, an hour late for work.
Feeling
like it was
like
a coma.
Zombie. Yeah.
I mean, it was almost like, you ever wake up late, even if you haven't abused Benadryl, and just kind of been like, what the fuck? Like, what day is it? What time is it? Like, you're just completely out of, like, you don't know what it is. Add 4 Benadryl on top of that.
Yeah.
It was the best.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So, anyway, what's going on?
Well, sorry you're not feeling good.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
one
all right.
of like the lucky few that like allergies aren't really a thing for me.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Not to brag, but like my immune system is just fine
Good
as
genes.
it is. I guess so.
Sorry, I'm so awesome.
Sorry about it. Mere mortals.
I'm one of the few lucky ones that I don't get cedar fever, so that's like my joy when everyone else is like, "Oh, I'm dying."
Do you get jungle fever? Because I do.
Yeah, who doesn't? Racist, I guess. Yeah.
Is it?
I don't know what that means.
Or whatever.
You get everything fever.
That is true.
All the colors of the rainbow fever.
There you go.
Yeah. No matter what. I don't think you discriminate.
This temperature never goes down.
Oh, hey.
Man, we got to ease back into this. We didn't do a show last week, so
Yeah.
the gay stuff,
Whatever.
I have a problem with. I don't know.
Clearly.
No, yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know if you were just drunk last episode, but you were like you were being so relentless on the gay shit.
Oh, when we
At
were
me.
drinking whiskey?
Yes.
Oh, was I? I guess I was drunk.
Bitch.
I guess it was easier. It's the low hanging fruit joke. I wasn't sharp minded, so I had to go for the easy stuff.
There you go.
And you're as easy as they come.
That is true. I read it on the bathroom wall.
Waka, waka, waka.
At many various bathroom
Yeah.
walls.
Doesn't matter
Just like,
the gender.
like, shit, this one too?
Yeah.
God
You're
damn
always
it.
going in like having to, I'm like, geez, I gotta get
Gotta
this.
carry a Sharpie with me at
Yeah.
all times.
Or do you just go in and verify the numbers right?
Yeah, I just gotta like make sure that's supposed to be a 4, not a 2.
Oh, bingo. Getting frisky over here.
I don't know about you guys, but I haven't been productive lately. And you ever get sucked into like a YouTube wormhole.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
you don't know how you got there and stuff. But sometimes you discover cool stuff.
Mhm.
Have you ever done that? Like where you're just like, oh, this is cool, or
Yes.
Yeah, I was scared you were going to say, and then I found an asphyxiation porn or
Oh,
something
no.
like. Then I went down this dark, deep wormhole.
No. No, well, I mean, I'm not saying sometimes I didn't find some weird shit, but
Yeah,
sometimes, and maybe this is weird, I don't know. Like there's people make like any kind 10 years ago, well, not 10 years ago, whenever YouTube didn't exist, if you would say, hey, I have all these videos, I'd make all these videos about a certain subject, and you're like, really? Why would you do that? Like, who would ever want to watch that? And now it's like some mundane topic, and I will watch every episode they got.
Oh, absolutely.
There's one guy on YouTube who does dead mall videos, like explores dead malls.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
You know,
Like
think
abandoned malls.
Yeah.
Yeah, where there's
I
like
think
2
I've seen
stores
a couple
left.
of those.
But he'll even go into like actually condemned, like shut down malls, and they have good production value because he makes it kind of creepy because he'll put music, but he'll put an effect on it where it sounds like it's playing on the dead mall's sound system, like it's still playing. It's just he makes it real because he doesn't say anything. He just kind of walks through. He doesn't narrate it. And I was like, man, this is great. And I just keep watching like all of them. And then
That
he
is
has,
quality content.
isn't it? but think about that. If it wasn't for YouTube, like who would, like if he said, hey guys, I've got all these videos of these malls that I walk through.
Like what other platform?
Yeah, like slides or something. Remember like people would get slides made from their vacation,
Oh, yeah.
and you'd have, hey, let's watch
Everyone come over to my house on Thursday night. I'll make mimosas and let's watch slides of my recent trip to Cancun or
No, it's
go.
usually something more mundane, like
Idaho.
yeah.
Sorry, no offense to Randy's family.
Oh, that's right.
Because my parents live in Idaho.
Yeah, it's our wonderful trip to Branson, Missouri. Well, actually, Branson. Well, there's
No.
stuff there, but
Yeah, if you're a straight white male mostly.
oh, I don't know. I've never been, but I know there's like, isn't it like a PG-13 Vegas
No.
or something? I don't know.
It's like
They have shows.
G-rated Vegas.
It's like Dollywood.
No, Dollywood is more.
How dare you
yeah.
speak ill of Dolly?
Yeah.
I don't know.
In any
No, not
capacity.
her.
Or her.
My husband had to go
Property.
to a work event at Branson, and he was like, "This is the worst place I've ever been." He
Really?
was like, it was just like,
Is it for old people who are too scared to go to Vegas?
yeah, and like real like people, and I'm probably gonna piss people off, but you know what else? Like people that voted for Trump definitely go to Branson for vacation,
And they're like, yes, like
Yeah.
they're super excited about it.
yeah, you know.
Fuck yes, Branson.
Well, you know
And
what?
it's not as cool as, so sad to say, it's not as cool as it used to be with like Yakov Smirnoff made it
Oh,
awesome. But now it's like, oh, who is this rando?
He was a comedian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, comes to me.
He's the one in Russia, blah, blah, blah,
Oh, that was
does you.
Oh, that was his thing. Yeah, in Russia, vodka drink you. Or
Yeah.
yeah,
And
it's
then
always.
he had that laugh.
Except it was funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
Or
yet
was
to
it?
hear you say a joke that's funny.
Oh, I hear him
Mac.
Okay.
you tried too hard.
Were you going to say something?
You
No.
told me
Oh,
some
before.
horrible jokes this week, but I don't know if they're podcast appropriate.
Well, it's like the physicality with. Oh no, I have my favorite joke to tell is. God, it's so terrible.
It's a horrible joke. I'd like to go ahead and just apologize.
Because do you know that Princess Diana was on the radio the night she got killed? The radio, the steering wheel, the passenger seat, the back seat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodbye, no mama Jean.
Okay, so it's good to know that
Goodbye
you.
to Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah, good to know that you aren't any better at it.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
no.
But she was in the backseat though.
I don't know where she
It's
was.
not a she was, but that is not the point of his really shitty joke. It's that it's a really shitty joke.
Not shitty
And
and
since
like
it's too
funny or
soon.
not funny.
It's too soon.
Yeah, she was the people's
I
princess.
have a really horrible joke that I ended up telling my mom this week, and
Like
it's-
accidentally or
Oh, I was there.
Randy was there for it, and I got punched by my
It
mom.
was pretty funny.
Um,
Something that a lot of our generation probably knows this joke.
yeah, it's really a dirty joke. But what did Cinderella do when she got to the ball?
What did she say?
What did she say when she got to the ball?
I haven't heard this. Hang on, let me think. What did she say when she got to the ball?
Yeah.
You don't know this?
No, I've never heard it. Okay. I was still thinking of in a innocent way the actual ball.
That, I said I got slapped by my mom
Oh,
telling
okay.
that joke.
Well, no. But I didn't. I still thought like maybe she, did something. She had a threesome at the ball. Like it was still a ball.
Oh.
Look, that's
I
worse.
thought you were talking about my mom.
Oh, no.
I was like,
Your
"Ooh."
mom, Cinderella, and the prince had a threesome at the ball.
No.
Dang, I didn't know she got down like that. I love your mom.
You know how
Love her even more.
You know how Dumbo's come out, and I was talking to.
Dumbo came out of the closet. Sorry,
Yeah, he did.
I had to
yeah.
say it.
No, the movie Dumbo, like the remake, the live
Yes,
action
yes,
thing.
Yes.
Because the Cinderella's a Disney movie, and people at work they were talking about it. I'm like, have you ever gone back like nowadays and why? And people, this isn't like I'm not breaking any news here, but and watch the original Dumbo and seen how bad it is.
It's so dark and sad too.
Well, yeah, like especially when they separate him from his mom and stuff. But then the crows. I mean, the name of the lead crow is Jim Crow.
Yeah.
And they talk in, jive. And then the guy that I saw not that this really makes a difference, but I guess it makes it worse. The guy with the voice actor was a white guy. So he was doing black voice, basically.
It was code switching and
Yeah.
Seems about right for
Right.
Disney at
Yeah.
that time.
I'm sure there's some anti-Semite stuff in there somewhere.
Oh.
probably.
But I don't know. A lot of people are like, I don't think they should let Tim Burton do any more Disney movies. I mean, I don't.
Did he direct Dumbo?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Everyone's like, it's super dark. And I'm like, well, Dumbo's kind of dark.
It's not the happiest movie
It's not.
the
Yeah,
entire
it's
time.
like Bambi. He should do all the dark ones. Do Bambi
Yeah.
if they ever do that. He did Alice in Wonderland. That was weird.
Yeah.
I liked it.
The live action one, and then he did. This isn't Disney, but the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I just like the original. I just grew up on the original, so I
like them both.
He's too pedophile-y in it.
Well.
Johnny Depp, not Tim Burton, or maybe Tim Burton was.
Who knows? They are best friends.
Yeah.
Johnny
Yeah.
Depp has his own issues, which was actually part of my celebrity news.
Oh, well, don't blow that load yet. Wait, hold it. Hold it in.
Hold it.
Okay,
Hold it in.
I'll try.
Yeah. I don't want.
Put a cork in.
Yeah.
Capping.
Hey, what does edging mean?
Oh, are
you
we
actually-
really
are you
going to talk
actually
about
asking me?
this?
Are you
Is it-
leading me on?
No. I think because I heard it.
Please tell me you heard it. Students talking about it.
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You wish that would have been it?
Because
I'm
that
gonna-
just sounds like an awkward thing.
Is that where you bring
would
somebody
hear.
to the brink of something and then
Yes,
not?
yes.
Okay, so
No.
I'm sorry, Mom.
Speaking
Yeah, so-
code, like
so-
No, there's no
No.
code.
Well,
Edging is when
Oh, Jesus.
typically a man is masturbating or being masturbated by someone else. And it's like the point of orgasmic inevitability where you can't not orgasm or ejaculate.
Okay.
It's like when you go right
That's
up
what
to
I
that
thought-
edge and
that's
come
what I
back
thought.
down.
I just said
is,
that.
That is edging.
All right.
I
Sorry,
like
sorry,
the
Mom.
what you didn't see was the hand gestures.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know.
like
Yeah.
we didn't know. Yeah.
It just looked like you thought we were telling a douchey story, so you're just like,
It just, whatever.
Yeah.
Those stories that Mac tells.
Yeah. Well, at least I got story. Do you have any stories? This is
About,
this is anecdote time.
Like personal shit.
yeah, what's happened in the last 2 weeks?
Okay, so I am still in the process of this. Like I said very quickly last week, my dad just recently passed away. And that has nothing to do with this necessarily, other than we as a family found out in like December that he had a half sister that none of us knew existed.
Dang.
That she is in her early 50s and lives in the Dallas area, very close to where my dad was and his other sister that I like grew up knowing as my aunt. And I didn't meet her until his funeral, but they got to know each other like the past couple of months before he passed, which was really, really great.
Did he know
He didn't know until
recently? that he had one?
December that she even existed, or
Wow.
that they had another sibling out there. Grandpapa was a Rolling Stone. And he had an affair back in the day, and then the woman he was having an affair with gave my Aunt Becky up for adoption.
Aunt Becky.
And her name is Aunt Becky, so I'm just colloquially calling her Aunt Becky with the good hair.
Well, I was thinking of Aunt Becky from
Yeah.
Full House.
Who-
Yeah,
she's not that
She
Aunt
didn't
Becky.
pay to get her kids into.
I mean, maybe, but the real tea of this is, and Mel knows this just because she was there when I found out, my Aunt Becky has 2 kids, and the younger one is a student at Baylor.
Oh,
So I have a first cousin that has lived in the same town as me for the past 3 years.
oh wow!
That I
Yeah.
never knew existed, and I'm hopefully going to meet him soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is a
Just a weird kind of
a
twist of-
revelation to have a first cousin. It's not even a distant relative.
No, he's like,
It's in the same city, and you just never knew.
yeah,
Nice.
that's pretty cool.
So you're
I'm
excited.
I'm really excited to meet him. I'm hoping he's a cool kid. He's 21, and I hope he's not totally douchey like some Baylor kids can be.
So he better be lame, or he better not be lame, or you won't be excited
Yeah,
to hang out with
because
him.
I want to
after
be
that.
the like cool older cousin.
Yeah,
because
but he's got to be cool too.
he's got to be cool. He's
Okay.
got to be a cool
And
younger
if not,
cousin.
you're like I
Yeah.
don't even.
yeah,
I don't know you.
bye, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I
But
hope we
you're, and then
can
his
be
half
friends.
sisters, you like her too? Like
Yeah, we've been texting. I actually was messaging with her last night, and I got kind of choked up. I was really happy that my dad has been sick for a while, and it was very like apparent that he was going to be passing soon, and I was just really glad that they got to find each other in the last couple
Nice.
months of his life, and I was really happy about that because getting to meet her was like was a very happy thing for him. He was really glad to meet
good.
her. Yeah,
Well,
not to
good.
bring
I
it
know.
down, but that was the like
It's pretty
cool,
heavy.
interesting stuff.
It was heavy, but it's good. That's good.
Yeah,
And then hopefully you'll let us know about when
Yeah.
you meet your cousin.
yeah. He'll be the new guest person on the Weekly Act. He'll be the 4th.
We need the more. Yeah, the
Because
more
we totally
can
need
get.
an extra person.
Yeah.
What about you, Mel?
Same shit, different day, different week. Through with high school 1-act play. Yes.
Yeah.
Done with that, and I, like Mac, am waiting for the end of the semester to be over, and then just dealing with everyday shit. Nothing too exciting, except last weekend I didn't have to work, and that's the first time, and I can't tell you I haven't had to work. So it was awesome. And it was rainy, so I literally just sat on the couch in my pajamas for 2 days
Yeah.
straight.
Last weekend was great for doing nothing.
Yeah, it was so nice. Because tomorrow I have to work all day, so that sucks. But it was awesome, and last night I got to go see the symphony do Peter and the Wolf and Henry Winkler.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I knew about that because he's been because Barry just came back on, so he's been on the talk show circuit, and they were saying where he was going to be, and I was like, "Whoa, that's
Yeah.
cool."
Yeah.
Waco had a cool thing.
Yeah, I really I love Peter and the Wolf, so I
That
really
dun, 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 dun. Okay.
yeah, so I really enjoyed that. But
Were you playing in the symphony?
No,
no.
Okay.
I'm not that good
Oh, okay.
anymore.
You didn't do a French horn solo?
No, not this time. The Waco. I mean, like most like professional symphonies, there's not an opening until someone retires or moves
Or dies?
or dies. So there hasn't been an opening in the horn section apparently in the Waco Symphony for a long, long time.
It's a cherry gig, and no one wants to give it up.
Yeah.
Because it's so prestigious in Waco.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
they do
Waco Symphony
really
Hall.
well for for a town the size of Waco, and especially because they have Baylor here that has a really great music program. That is a very good symphony, especially for the size of the town that it's in.
Yeah, and I mean they've been able to bring big name people like Yo-Yo Ma and Renee Fleming, and next season they're bringing Branford Marsalis, and so like
He
big
used to
name
be
music peeps.
Leno's band.
Was it
band
Branford
leader.
or Winston?
I think it was Branford. It was a B Marsalis.
Yeah, I guess
know.
it was him. I
Branford.
don't remember.
Branford.
Yeah.
Branford Marsalis. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I got to do that,
Nice.
and that was awesome. And I'm just trudging along, and
Does Henry Winkler have anything to do with music though?
Peter and the Wolf is like narrated.
Oh, he narrated it.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
okay,
narrated, told the story. So
Got it.
otherwise, I'm just trucking along. I'm waiting for movies to come out I want to see. And then, of course, my excited this Sunday is Game of Thrones is back.
Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah, motherfucker.
Yeah, gonna watch some Game of Thrones. That's what I did last weekend, was watch the last season of Game of Thrones and just kind of refreshed my memory. And now I'm stoked,
Nice.
ready to watch some people lose some heads. And
Are you a Game of Thrones fan?
No, but I mean, I've had shows that I do like come back, so I understand your
Yeah.
excitement. I mean, Barry came back. That's not the same thing. It's not ending. It's not been on for 7 years. How long?
This is the eighth season,
season?
but it's been like a 10-year process to do 8 seasons.
Do they do half? Where they? You know how a lot of shows do that, where they the season is split into halves.
No, they didn't really do
it's
that.
all the way
but
through.
It's all the way through, but they only do like 8 to 10 episodes a season. So
And
it's
this season, I think there's only 8 episodes, right?
I think there's 6.
But a lot of them are going to be feature length films.
Oh, okay.
Hour and a
Apparently.
half,
Super
or-
size.
but not Sunday. I found out it's only
It's
regular.
only an hour. But you know what? After not having Game of Thrones for almost 2 years, I'm okay with an hour,
Getting your toes back in.
especially when there's going to be more.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's the thing too. They don't. It's not every year they come back with a new season. It
It
takes
was just
longer.
this past summer they took off because it was we got a lot to film
Yeah.
and a lot to edit. There's a lot of dragons that they got to do some
Yeah.
computer stuff with that probably takes some time.
real dragons.
Yes,
Absolutely real dragons.
Dragons.
I always think the only way I can relate to that show is there was because I was playing a video game when you guys got here, but there's a game like that, a genre that I don't play, but a roommate of mine used to, Skyrim.
Yeah.
Oh,
You get-
yeah.
and that's kind of mythological, and there's dragons that you can,
Yes.
it's like one of those open world things where you could play it forever and stuff.
Mhm.
So that's the extent of my knowledge. Is it anything like Skyrim? Then I can.
No. For me,
I've never played
You know,
I
when
mean,
something is similar and to something else, and you try to talk about that thing just to
Instead.
try to bridge the game, and they're
Yeah.
like, "But I don't know what you're talking about."
I just like to describe it like it's kind of like Lord of the Rings, but with more sex and blood
Oh, absolutely.
and violence.
Well, I know a little. I mean, when I worked at the bank, there was a girl who was a bookworm, and those were her favorite books. So she read all of them and would talk to us about them, whether you wanted to hear about it or not.
Yeah,
so,
I've read all the books too.
and they're not quick reads.
No,
They're-
no.
When they make them in those little, the reissue, or when they make them in the smaller books, they're like, I mean, there's, it almost looks like they're going to break in half because they're so big instead of a full, whatever that's called. What is it when just paperback?
Yeah.
I
But
think
when they're
that's what you're
little
saying.
though. No, but sometimes like when it comes out in paperback and they, like a book that's been out a long time, and I'm not saying that those have, but sometimes they come out in like little tiny editions.
Hmm.
Is that a reissue? I don't know.
I
Anyway.
don't know.
I have no idea what you're
Someone's
saying.
yelling at us right now as they're listening.
Yes.
They're saying what it's called.
Yeah.
I think it's a phrase for it when they do it. It's usually a book that, like, To Kill a Mockingbird. Like, you'll see one and it's like not a full size
Yeah.
book. It's the same length, but it's just like the dimensions are smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's something.
It's
But
something.
anyway, she had those books instead, so they looked even more giant
Yeah.
than they actually were. So,
It's true.
There you go.
So yeah, I've just I'm pretty brain dead and ready to like take a break, and I'm trying to plan. My summer doesn't look like it's going to be as relaxing as I want it to be, but that's, it's
Same.
okay. But it'll be fun. I'd rather have fun.
Yeah.
well, good. I had some family in this week and last week. That's why we couldn't do a show last week. And I told you guys that I hope that no politics comes up, and it didn't.
Oh,
which was
good.
It didn't have, because sometimes it's weird. I've said it before. They'll try to bring it up to get me to bite and start talking about it. But one of my little cousin was playing. He goes to Midway, and they were playing my school in baseball. So we went to watch, and I had to sit on the Midway side. But I wore my school stuff. And for some reason, they thought, because I umpired baseball games, I guess this is why they were asking these questions. So we were sitting there, and they're like, "Hey, what kind of grass is that?" I don't know.
The green kind?
Yeah, the alive kind, the kind that's on base. I'm like, I only know 2 kinds of grass, and that's besides. But Bermuda and St. Augustine, and I was like, I know St. Augustine's this is so interesting about talking about grass, but it's the thicker blades, and it's not. So I was like, I don't know, Bermuda, and they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, but I don't know if that's right or not. And then when we were leaving, another set of family said, "What kind of grass is this?" I'm like, fuck, I don't know. What? I didn't
Why
say
is your
that to him.
family obsessed with grass?
I don't know. I don't know if they think that I inspect the grass when I go out on the field and say, well, this won't do. This is not the right kind of grass.
This game must be forfeit
Yeah.
by the home team.
Forfeited, yeah. So that was just a weird, like, and they were like, hey, how far is it from home to second? I'm like, why does that matter?
You're looking at it. It's that far.
Yeah,
Use your
right.
eyes. It's from there to there.
I'm like, you don't have to force questions. We can just watch.
Yeah.
People, I mean, you've probably met just any people that think you always have to talk. Like there can be silence without it being awkward. Let's just sit. Let's just watch. It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're trying to connect and love me, I guess, but fuck that. I will not allow that.
Shan't.
I shan't.
Speaking of sports, March Madness is over, and I won both my brackets,
Nice.
ladies and men's.
Baylor friggin' won.
Baylor won, but you know what? I actually picked them to win on my ladies bracket. So
Yeah.
No shame there. You just wanted to. You wanted to win. I don't care who it
wanted
was.
to win, and they won. I was super stoked about that. And then, but fuck you, Virginia.
Did they win on the men's side?
They did. Fuck them.
Did you watch that? I watched the Auburn Virginia game. That was great. It was. This is sports talk.
I'm listening. I'm engaged.
Well, no. You know,
I
I'm
have
just
opinions, but
no.
I'll still
I was
listen.
warning you. I didn't want. They were down 3 points, and the kid got fouled and made the 3. No, they were down 2 points, and the 3-point foul shots that he made won the game.
I know.
It was crazy.
It was bullshit.
You don't think that was a foul
No.
when he was going? Oh, okay.
No, I don't. I'm an Auburn fan too, so.
Oh,
fuck
that's
them.
right. Yeah.
And
Do you think that was a
also-
double dribble before?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Totally.
And then,
Totes double dribbles.
I mean, I'm not a Texas Tech fan. They did pay me for a brief amount of time.
Welcome, Tech.
But come on, like that was shitty too. So, yeah. So, suck a dick, Virginia.
But you won both your brackets, so
I did win both my
Did
brackets.
you win something tangible or just bragging rights?
monies.
Well, I do this bracket with Bo every year, which is just like the loser has to take the winner out for a nice date. So whatever
Everybody wins.
ways, yeah. So he gets to choose that. The ladies bracket, no, I won. Go me.
Oh yeah.
Nobody. You don't. You're never on any brackets that wager anything. I guess.
No,
Right.
I'm a chicken.
Okay. But think about it. If you would have did it this time, you would have
But you know
cleaned
what?
If
If I would have put money on it, I wouldn't have won.
it would have put the kibosh and
Yeah,
said,
it's
"No,
like,
she
nope.
will not." The sports gods will say, "No, she shall not.
That's-
She shan't win."
She shan't. But, I am proud of Auburn. Lots of good stuff has come out of that. And people are actually paying attention to them outside of football, which
Yeah.
is nice. And
Poor Charles Barkley wasn't happy about it. Oh, that
yeah.
was terrible.
Neither was
Terrible.
Gnarls Barkley.
but yeah, Charles was sad.
He was already eating ice cream when they cut to him on the set, just because he was so depressed.
I heard him say, he goes, I can't talk about this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to cry on the air. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Have you seen the commercials with him and Larry Bird and
Yes.
Sam Jackson and Spike Lee?
Yes.
It's so corny, but it was so funny because Charles Barkley had a bird,
bird on it,
Larry
the
Bird,
bird.
and then Larry Bird came into the airport and he had a dog,
named
Charles
Barkley.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Charles Barkley back in the day. He's probably some of the reason I got ejected out of basketball games because he was so physical and kind of mean on the court. And he was
he the one that said I'm not a role model? Was it Barkley?
No.
I think that was Natalie Portman.
No,
I
it
can't
was a
remember.
basketball player, but it wasn't Barkley. It was somebody else.
I don't think it was Barkley, but I really liked him, and he was like, I really looked at his basketball style and I tried it out, but when a high school girls basketball in Texas is not ready for Charles Barkley.
He's not
So
ready for Mel
I got-
body
I was
checking
like,
people and slapping them.
Just getting
Yeah.
all found out of
Grabbing
all
hair.
the games. And
They were-
found
Try me, bitch.
Yeah, that's like. You remember those This Is Sports Center commercials?
Yeah.
There was one where Stu Scott, rest in peace, and Kenny Mayne were being big brothers, and they were playing basketball with the kids, but they were playing like they were playing against, like shoot the ball, shoot it, and like Stu would go up and slap balls out, that they were gonna lay up into their face and stuff.
Nothing like
Carol, get your shit together, Carol.
just injuring children.
My
Comedy.
favorite pastime.
There's an SNL sketch where Peyton Manning hosted, and he was it was like for the United Way or something, and he was playing with kids, but he was just knocking them. He was throwing at full speed, and he made one kid go in the porta potty because he made a bad play. He's like, "Shut the door, shut it." It was just so funny. He's like, play with your kids so Peyton Manning doesn't have to.
That was the only thing funny about that episode because Peyton Manning, not funny.
Right, yeah.
Oh, sometimes those when they had different celebrities, hosts,
Sports or when they're sports stars.
athletes, you're like,
or sometimes when a singer is the host and the musical guest.
yeah.
It's not always Justin Timberlake does a good job when he does it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Miley's not bad.
Now,
She's
what's
just
it?
being Miley.
Then we hang out. I'm gonna redeem myself. Good times.
All right.
You know who's just as great as Miley Cyrus? Pete Davidson. Sorry.
Oh man, there it is. Well, we got it in for the week.
There it is.
When Kit Harington hosted SNL this past weekend, and Pete Davidson was the Night King.
Yeah.
Oh my
so
gosh.
we're still gonna be friends after the
No,
show's over?
You've changed.
You're the worst. You turn everyon into a zombie.
I just laughed because he was in a costume. That's all I can
Yeah.
do with it. That was a good episode, actually. He did a good job because like the whole monologue was him talking.
Yes.
There's a lot of actors from the show, right?
Yeah.
That he was talking to in the audience and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, one reason I'm excited about Game of Thrones is because Leslie Jones live tweets it.
Yes.
And she gets like super like
Lit.
vocal and pissed off about things. It's so good. That's almost as entertaining, if not more so.
Like there's so many things I want to talk about, but Mac hasn't seen it.
I know.
And if he decides to watch it one day, I'm just going to spoil everything
Yeah.
for him. now.
No, you don't have to. I will never. That's just not.
Because one of my best friends like watched all of Game of Thrones. I think it was like the summer of 16. So it was that season was when Cersei blew up the thing, the cathedral.
Church.
Yes, the word is
Whatever.
escaping me. With the dragon fire, and it was him all the way for maybe like a month. It was 2 or 3 Facebook statuses a day. Just, oh my gosh, he threw burning gold on that guy's head, or oh my gosh, it's a dragon. Just the constant updates. So I'm excited for Brant's updates of Game of Thrones.
I just watched actually today. James Corden made one of his writers last weekend watch all. He had never seen Game of Thrones and made him watch it all in one setting.
Oh shit!
Like all the seasons, and made him a little room with like all the snacks and then all the seasons, and it was just a video of him watching them all, and it was really hilarious.
I'm okay
and
with this.
I felt bad for him though. He goes, "It's a good show, but I don't think it was meant to be watched like this." It was like 60 something hours, and he started at like Friday morning. Yeah, is right. And it was just they had 2 cameras in the room.
Was
so
he
they could
allowed to
watch him.
sleep?
Yeah, he slept sometimes, but they were like, you have to finish it by Monday. So he just kind of like, I think he finished at like 10 a.m. Monday, and he started at like 8 a.m. on a Friday.
Like, because I binged it up through season 5. Like while season 5 was airing is when I started it, and I remember when the Red Wedding happened. Like that was a season finale of like season 3. I couldn't watch it for a couple of days because I was so mad. So I couldn't imagine like watching that and then immediately having like it's required to go into season 4. Like you need to decompress sometimes.
They hired him like one of those IV people that come and like rehydrate you, and
Oh my God.
and they hired him one of those to come and like stick an IV in him, and he was bleeding, and it was the Red Wedding, and so he grabbed his own blood and did, because they had a chart for him to X off each episode he watched.
Oh no.
And he used his own blood to X off.
That's fucked up.
It was real gross. Anyway, that's a story.
That's whatever you were talking about for you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, asshole.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is what it's
sorry.
like when you two talk about sports.
Which is not that often.
Well,
At least a little bit every episode, but it's okay. But in preparation for Game of Thrones, Sunday morning, I'm going to the Renaissance Festival.
Yes.
I'm getting into character.
Oh my gosh.
Then I'm going to watch in my kilt.
That's whatever you were talking about for you.
I'll take pics for you, Mac.
That's all right.
Check them out on my Instagram.
I was thinking you were talking about your kilt, and I was like, pictures up your kilt, because that's a different thing. You got to charge for those.
No, I'm gonna go Irish and not Scottish because I chafe. So I'm not. So I'm gonna wear underwear.
Oh,
So the Scots are commando.
Yes.
Yeah.
When they do it.
they're free ballers.
Because I'm free,
Yeah.
free balling. All right, Randy, you got a celebrity shit?
Oh yes, and celebrity news.
Celebrity
Let me pull it up really quickly. Okay.
I'm gonna isolate that. That's gonna be your thing.
So Amber Heard, who was married to Johnny Depp, which is why you had mentioned it earlier when talking about Alice in Wonderland. Johnny Depp, according to Amber Heard, is an alcoholic monster who's jealous of James Franco.
Really?
James Franco. Is anyone jealous of James Franco?
Most people are afraid of James Franco
Ah.
because he had that weird bathroom selfie thing, or the naked or whatever. Johnny Depp's kind of lost his hold on people's crush on him. Like he's kind of gone down in popularity.
It's because he keeps being a creeper, and not like that crazy. Ooh, it's kind of sexy. He's creepy, but more of that dude's a freaking.
There's
weirdo.
a sexy kind of creepy. I have to figure that out.
Yeah,
Like Pete Davidson.
He's sexy creepy.
I mean, maybe to me. But when Johnny Depp and Amber Heard divorced in 2017, both parties signed a non-disclosure agreement barring them from speaking about the relationship or anything during interviews and whatnot. But now in December of 2018, Heard published an op-ed in the Washington Post in which she referenced an abuse she had allegedly suffered during her marriage. And although she never mentioned him by name in the piece, Depp is now filing a $50 million lawsuit against her,
Wow.
alleging that she violated the NDA. And last week saw the release of court documents in which Depp claimed that Heard tried to cut off his finger, amongst other allegations. Now it's Heard's turn to return fire, and based on filing obtained by Page Six, she's certainly not holding back. In the documents, claim would become a totally different person, often delusional and violent, and we call that version of Johnny the monster. I feel like I'm like narrating this like it's sensational, but like it's not cute. But I bring this up because
Wait, did he cut off his finger like a Van Gogh thing and like give it to her?
no,
What?
like she allegedly tried to cut his finger
she
off,
tried to cut his finger off. Okay.
assumingly like in a fight when he was drunk or when she was crazy, or I don't know. I don't know his side. I just know what she's come forward with, that allegedly he was extremely abusive and alcoholic. And my question is, at one point does because we kind of had this conversation about like in the music industry and like the Me Too with like R. Kelly, Bill, and Michael Jackson, like at what point do we separate the artist from the art? Like, because Johnny Depp, and I say Mel Gibson because he's also been accused of shit like this, of like domestic abuse and also just like being a total asshole. At what point does your fame not matter when you're just like a horrible human being?
Well, your fame's not like big enough to override the shitty stuff you've done.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you think Johnny? I mean, he's a mega superstar.
Exactly.
Like, so I mean, Bill Cosby was famous, but he wasn't like that. He was just like everyone's dad. He was like the guy next door.
But like everybody loved him.
Right. Yeah. I guess the whole like worldwide. I guess I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on how many people will come forward. I mean, maybe if this is the only thing he has, maybe it doesn't hurt him as bad.
Maybe.
Depending the sheer volume of incidences, I guess would.
I did see that Bill Cosby settled out of court with like 7 women. That
did he really?
was, yeah, I saw that on something, that women that had accused him, and it was, so that's been taken care of. But he's still, living that prison life.
He'll probably. Somebody said it's weird. We live in a world where you could say Bill Cosby would probably die in prison.
Yeah,
because he's not in good health anyway.
Yeah, it's really true.
Yeah.
But
you know what I have to say? Don't fucking rape people and it won't be an issue.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
That's it. Yeah. The more you know. Do.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
Consent.
That's like, I wish you should do like one of those the NBC PSAs where you're like, hey, they always try to relate and be, they're like, hey, whenever, you shouldn't rape and just like say obvious things that everyone should already know.
And wear a like Bill Cosby-esque sweater.
Yeah.
Hey, you didn't want to be fired from your job? Maybe don't be spotted in like a white nationalist rally in Charlottesville, you fucking asshole.
Yeah. And don't rape.
Oh,
Like,
and by the way, when you see a woman, make sure not to rape her.
Yeah.
Like,
And then Joe Biden's like being creepy.
Yeah.
What about that? Is that like a Aziz Ansari thing? Just because he's an old grandpa?
No, I don't know. No, because Aziz Ansari was different though.
Because that was like a consensual date they were on at first.
And he stopped, and it was just the comment made him, I think, look worse than the situation. Because she even admitted they didn't have sex.
Yeah. But Biden's more habitual and just not changing his ways.
I don't know.
My thing about I'm sorry to interrupt. The thing that I saw about Joe Biden is that it wasn't just women, that he's just he seems to be just kind of a touchy-feely person with everybody, men included.
So it's the equal opportunity.
I mean, it seemed to be that way.
Yeah.
Now, I could definitely be wrong, and he could totally be a total creeper and have done much worse things that we don't know about yet. Who knows? I don't want him to be president, regardless of the fact. So whatever.
Because he's too old.
Because he's too fucking old.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why if you're over like 70 years old, you shouldn't be able to vote.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care. It's not your future. You don't get a say.
Yeah, it's true. So
you don't change the policy rules right before you resign from your position as president. Get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
That does happen. So
you shouldn't.
So with Joe Biden, does this, Randy speaks for all gays, you speak for all women. Okay, I'm just kidding. But in your opinion, does it, the women that have said he's too touchy-feely, does that tarnish or does it make the real sexual harassment, rape, whatever? Does it, how they say it diminishes their bravery from coming forward? Does that,
I don't know. It's such a fine line. I will say so far everything that's come out about him has just been like touchy-feely stuff, which
just invading personal space, really.
And to me, that's in a weird sick scale. That's better than getting raped. But it's not great.
Well,
no one wants that still. Because, first time, I always tell this story, and first time I ever went to a gay bar, and I was, like 21 or 22, I had like 4 or 5 dudes just like grab my boobs through the night, just like walk by and grab my tits. And I just was so weird because it was, and they were very gay, obviously gay men, but it was like to them they were like, oh, this is a compliment, your tits are great. But I'm just like,
it's still a person.
Exactly. And if I went to a straight bar and some dudes did that, I think I was just so thrown aback that it happened that I didn't say or do anything because I was like, what is going on?
Right.
But yeah, if it was a straight bar and even one dude tried to touch my tits, I'd be like, whoa, bitch, So
well, see, that's the thing.
But
like,
still, it's not.
You would say, and now this may be like an unpopular. This is me just asking. So, like, they were talking about it last week on Bill Maher's show, but should the woman say something then? Not blaming the victim, not saying. Not trying to take, responsibility away from him from not doing that. Like, you should know personal space anyway. Mm-hmm. But like, and then they would say, well, it's now that, it's 10 years later and now they felt comfortable. But it's like, this isn't the same as your boss saying we're going to have sex or you're fired.
Yeah. No, I think it definitely should happen. When it happens, it should be reported.
Yeah.
Even if it's something uncomfortable like that, but that's why there's so
make a note of it, like say
exactly. And that's why there are so few rapists in prison,
right?
Because women won't go when they get assaulted and go get a rape kit. And because they won't, because they're ashamed and they feel all the things that they feel, they won't go get a rape kit and that could help their mental health and physical health, and also just, hopefully catch somebody. And because of that, I mean, it's like those cheesy crime shows, the first 48 hours are the most important. It's the same thing when that happens. And when women don't wait to say, and men or anyone for that matter, you don't say anything about it, then the more time you wait between, it's just builds up time. And obviously your mental health is not going to be great either. And it's just going to cause a lot of issues.
In their defense, it is hard sometimes, just like you said, it is hard sometimes when you're so surprised and not expecting it to react the way that you want to in the moment. Like, I mean, and even take the sexual part out of it. We've all been in a situation where it's just like a week later, you're like, I'm in a more clear state of mind now. I would have done X, Y, and Z in that situation. And that happens. And just not to put all the blame on, or all the, not to put everything on the women and how they should have reacted to it, or just people in general, how they should react to it.
The onus.
Thank you. Just that way people, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's hard to sometimes react in the moment how you think you would.
But if it's a one-time thing and it's something like that, I don't know necessarily if it's something to, I mean, a lot of people have said that those people are like Bernie supporters too, and there's like a political angle. The lady from Las Vegas, they said she's like she works for Bernie Sanders or whatever, or used to. I don't think it's about like sabotaging anybody, but
all of that stuff. And that's what's hard is like, why do you wait so long? Some of those cases it's not that I don't believe them because we've already discussed them, but maybe it's like, it does give an air of disbelief because you're like, really? Are you just doing this now because this person's running for office or this person?
It makes you question.
Yeah. That's why, I think that's been the key with all the crimes that have come up, or just people are like, oh yeah, why are you talking about this now? Why didn't you talk about it then?
Just because in the moment you don't know what to do, and sometimes there's never a good time to come forward. And then it's just, eventually it's like, if it's going to be now or never.
Yeah.
And that might be 10 years later, and not about Joe Biden specifically, but about just people in general. I know that's something that I struggle with a lot, is that I went through this thing and it's something that like I've talked about, but nothing that I've ever like brought like attention to this person because of it happening.
Like reporting them?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
And it's something that I still struggle with. That's just like, should I talk about this and like bring this to the authorities? It's been so long now. Would anybody believe me? And the longer I wait because of that insecurity, the more doubt is built against me because of it. X, Y, and Z. Sorry, I keep bringing the mood down. I'm sorry, guys.
We are getting deep today.
Well, I was just wondered about that because it's at some point like everyone's got to take some kind of initiative with it. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone equally, but if a guy touches you and you don't like it, say fuck off.
Yeah,
like leave me alone.
And I want more people to feel empowered to say it in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's and that kind of opens the door to something else. Is between the first time I went to Comic-Con and like 3 years later, I guess was the second time I went to Comic-Con. In that 3 years, there were signs that were everywhere about cosplay is not consent.
Yep.
And that's huge in the Rocky Horror community too, because especially with us, when we're shadow casting and we have people in lingerie and,
and jock straps,
and like they're super sexy dancing.
Good Lord, yes.
They're not strippers, and you just because, and even when we practice and we're practicing these so-called sex scenes, there's a lot of very careful touching and not touching and looking like we're touching
and asking permission.
It's acting.
But then, every time we do a show, I'll have someone in our cast say, oh yeah, an audience member grabbed my ass tonight, or and
they think they're part of it where they can just say,
and
all
it's
right.
like, we are portraying these characters. We aren't actually these characters. So
I don't. It's just. I guess it's hard for me because you can laugh if you want. I'm a well-adjusted person or something. I know you shouldn't just grab onto. So like when people talk about that, like it makes me sound insensitive because I'm like why? Like that just doesn't. I'm like, people just grab and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So not that I don't believe them, but it's like I would never do that.
Yeah,
so
there's
it's
a
a
level
surprise.
of common sense. I mean, even you don't grope the strippers at the strip club,
Right.
They
And
will
they
kick you
deserve it.
out. Yeah.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding.
They have to feed their children, Matt.
Right, I know. Yep.
But
From all the dollar
still,
bills they pull out of their ass at the end of the night.
I feel
Yeah.
like, even people that, like, if you've never been to a strip club or anything like that and you've watched movies or TV shows, that's like a common theme. But I don't know,
Yeah.
for some reason in nerd culture, a lot of times at Comic-Con, people dress up like, some super sexy character, like Red Sonja, and she's like super Viking chick, or like Storm in the 80s,
Yeah.
X-Men.
And
she's,
it's very disproportionate because there's a lot more attractive women that are into this than attractive men.
yeah.
Like when I say, and plus, like the cosplay characters are always more scantily clad than cosplay.
so many female
dude.
characters are drawn overtly sexual. So cosplaying them is
yeah.
going to be.
So, and that brings more of that type of woman to play that. And I mean, I guess it's a cliche, but some of those nerd guys are repressed and don't know aren't social. Not all of them. I'm not saying I'm not trying to paint with a broad brush here, but but it doesn't even matter if you're like a nerdy guy who's not around women at all. It happens to guys that are around them all the time or whoever.
I mean, and just
So.
like on the topic of like you saying you were in a gay bar and it was mostly like super flamboyant or just super gay dudes that were grabbing your boobs. I've known a lot of gay guys that think that's totally okay. And it's such bullshit because like I also, and it's a totally different dynamic, but like I remember being a young, like 19-year-old going into a gay club for the first time and all these old men like immediately like latching
meat.
on and like touching me and grabbing my ass or like
Yeah.
rubbing me in places that they probably shouldn't because they didn't fucking know me. You don't
What
even
about
know me.
What about if a girl grabs your boob? Is that the same thing?
Still, yeah.
Yeah, that's
like,
still another person without.
It's another person,
Because
like,
girls will grab other girls who have like bigger boobs than them, like, oh my god, like what's that about?
I mean, if it's like a
But
friend
if it's your
and we're
friend,
having a
well, yeah.
conversation, but if it's some rando, no
Yeah.
thanks.
it's still a person touching another person without.
Exactly.
I saw talk about hot guys in cosplay. A few years ago, when the first time I ever went to Comic-Con, I saw this guy that was Colossus, and he was totally body painted head to toe, and he just had like little skivvy shorts on covering his junk, and he was looking like kind of like 80s Colossus. And
80s girl.
I was like, I stopped and was like, can I get a picture of you? And he's like, sure. And I said, this could just sound weird because I'm fascinated by theater makeup, and it's one of my random gifts I have is I can do a lot of special effects makeup. So I was trying to see how his special effects makeup was done. And I was like,
He's like, yeah, I've heard this one before.
and I'm like, can I get some close pictures of like your legs and stuff? Because I want to see it. And he was like, oh yeah, I'll tell you how it was done. And he said, thank you. Because so many people, because he literally just had shorts on, are like, ooh, you're hot. I want a picture with you. And I'm like, your makeup is amazing. And I want to know about this makeup. I mean, he was hot, but also like, I thought, wow, he did a really good job. He looks like this comic book character.
So clearly, other women just either take the pictures or touch him.
Yeah.
Or...
I saw so many like Jason Momoa, Dothraki wannabes from Game of, and you're like, hey, and I will say this, the last Comic-Con I went to, I dressed up like Tina Belcher, and every person that I took a picture with, I took in character and I stared at their butt. And so I have all these pictures of me with like these random cosplayers, and some of them have never seen Bob's Burgers at the time, and so they had no idea. Like
they just thought you were a creep.
Yeah, and so it got to where now, like, Free Comic Book Day is coming up, and for the past few years, I've dressed up like Tina Belcher, and I'm going to do it again. That people come up to me at Free Comic Book Day and are like, would you look at my butt so I could take a picture with you? And I'm like, sure. So I don't know how many people in the Waco area have a picture of me staring at their butt. But, you know, it's like I've got my erotic friend fiction, and I've got my little, you know, Tina Belcher get
Bob and the
and I'm just
glasses.
sitting there just staring at people's butts all day. That's what I do. And then I twerk. I do my little Tina twerk.
All right.
So, you know.
And with
I like
and with
listening
that,
to traffic reports. I like when they say bumper to bumper.
and with the talk about butts,
Yeah.
Let's go into bits.
Yeah, talk about my later bits. Oh, God. Okay, so big news this week for mankind, as we know, is we had the first picture of a black hole,
Yay.
which has produced so many good memes.
Right.
I mean,
Because it was out of focus. And there's some where people are like,
I mean, there's buttholes, there's end of a Snoop Dogg's joint, there's the super unknown Soundgarden CD cover. Like, there's just been so many. And then I went on a weird tangent, and I've got to say, I normally don't brag about my social media, but I went on this really random tangent where I took pictures of the black hole and put all the songs I could think of that had black hole in it, and just did like an Instagram story of black hole sun and supermassive black hole. And I did like 4 or 5 different songs, and then I ended with Miley Cyrus because I can't stop and I won't stop. But anyway, all about
She's just being Miley.
just being-
The next time we hang out.
being Melly. Why have we never sang it that way before? Oh my God. Groundbreaking. Okay, so anyway, the whole point of this black holeness, besides it's just awesome because we knew they existed, we just never seen one, was it was a woman who developed the code to help get this photo and helped take the photo of a black hole. And first off, if you don't feel like a loser already, she's 29.
Yeah,
Jeez.
she was pretty young.
She's a PhD, graduated from MIT, and
I hate her.
and she, helped us see the first ever picture of a black hole. And of course, automatically I saw today there's some dude that worked with her or went to MIT that was like, oh, is like trying to steal her thunder because he's a dude. But I would just, it's just so great because one of the things that she said and people interviewed about her was, I was told my whole life that girls don't like science and girls aren't good at science. And, I went into coding and I got my PhD from MIT, which was already against, breaking those walls left and right. And then she was like, and here I am, and I'm helping the world, not just America or a community, but like the entire world see what a black hole looks like. So shout out, girl. I think
For sure.
Christy is her name, but I forgot her last name. It's really hard to say. So I'm just going to say Dr. Christy. Good
My
job,
girl, good job.
Good job.
Also, the
yeah.
picture of the black hole is even cooler zoomed out, where you see everything that's around it, because it's super fucking blurry. But like the full picture with everything that's not zoomed in specifically on the black hole, but everything that's getting sucked into it, the like constellation around it, is so fucking beautiful. I don't know if y'all have seen that one.
I feel
I've
like
just
it's
seen
straight out of like sci-fi.
Oh,
It's-
it totally is.
Which one was that? The second of the new Star Trek movies? The one with Khan, or was it the third one?
Con.
Yeah. That was they were trying to fight getting out of a black hole. I don't know. I just nerded that up real good for y'all.
Is that movie with Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway?
Interstellar?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I was like,
Where he's just in the same, he's in another dimension as them, but he's
Yeah.
like in the same time. Somehow he's seeing his family in the house.
When you get
It's
into
a
time
trippy-
travel and movies, it gets real
Yeah.
convoluted and
Yeah.
complicated.
It was
a good.
It was
good
a
movie.
good, it was a great movie, but man, you couldn't just casually watch it.
Exactly.
You had to pay attention and stuff. So, I like the Futurama episode where they're on the Titanic and that ship gets sucked into the black hole.
yes.
That was Brannigan earlier. I would play that thing,
Yes.
and that was
Oh.
Zap Brannigan.
Zap Brannigan. He was always he's one of my go-to voices when I do stuff with the radio thing.
Oh,
At the place
okay.
he was always like when we did what's the alien one? War of the Worlds.
Mhm.
Yeah. But he's just such a pompous idiot. He's just he's just great.
I went down a Futurama binge kind of a few weeks ago. I don't remember what started it. There was some joke or something that was made, and I love Futurama, so
Yeah.
I will go down that.
It's all right. I think that was for the generation before me because like what year like it came out in 2000, right?
Or
Because it was
99.
like the turn of the century.
Yeah.
I was 6.
Yeah.
Going-
but it's been
turned-
on. It came back
Yeah,
on
but
TV.
if you watch it now, do you have like fresh eyes?
I mean,
Because-
I haven't watched it like in a long time, so I don't
Yeah.
really have a super.
There's so many great little jokes and stuff that are. I sing a lot of the songs that were on there. Well, I sing Bob's Burgers songs all the time, but also there's a lot of the. I always sing the superhero episode is my favorite.
Oh yeah, when they had that cream that they use.
Yeah.
I will watch. I think that should be the new or the next Animosity TV.
Yeah.
Y'all should assign me an episode of Futurama.
Go, young or Team Justice, team. That's our team.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Clobberella beats you up. Clobberella.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I will sing them all.
or anything with Zach Brannigan. That's all. He's just
Zach
such
Brannigan.
a Zach Brannigan. Like when he's gonna. So it's the one with the black hole. They're going on the Titanic, and but nobody's realized that that's a bad name for. It's like it's a spaceship, but it's a cruise that they're going on.
Oh,
But nobody realized that's a
it's
horrible
just kind of
name.
a cursed name.
Yeah. So in the beginning, when he's
Kinda jinxing yourself.
They what's it called when you you hit a wine bottle on the.
Just setting
It's
it
like-
off.
You're like,
But it's called
it's your christening.
christening, yeah. So they christen it with the head of Leonardo DiCaprio in a jar. But Zap is like, she's a fine ship, shapely and seductive. I'm gonna fly her brains out. Like, it's just so.
That was a really good impression.
Well, thanks. But they're all throughout. There's like Kiff, his assistant's always trying to, he's like, we're gonna go on a different, route or whatever it's called when you're on a cruise ship, and he's like, no, that's our path is dictated by the travel agency. He's like, that one's for schoolgirls. Here's one with some chest hair on it. It's super macho all the time.
Yeah,
so.
he's
Okay.
a douchebag
He is.
all
So-
the time.
but great.
So
good.
I'll watch the superhero episode and the Titanic episode of Futurama.
We'll pick some episodes, but those are two really good.
Well, no, I think that's good.
Yeah, I
Man.
love the.
Well, the superhero one's really good too.
I love the superhero episode. That's one of my go-to favorite episodes of Futurama is the superhero. Yeah, it's just great.
There's a podcast where they just do Futurama.
Wow.
Like they go through every episode and
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
I have not listened to it, but
Well, that's how you know it's time to leave, when we're quoting shows and
And podcasts.
pointing you to other podcasts to listen to.
yeah.
So we should probably wrap this up and
Okay.
stuff. So, you guys got anything to?
I
Plug.
got some stuff on the horizon I'll be talking about soon, so just let that titillate you that there's going to be
Same.
some stuff happening.
Ooh.
That's a good
Yeah,
plug.
we're
Stuff
gonna-
sometimes
Stuff. I'm gonna
in the
have some
future.
stuff for y'all.
And I might know something about it.
Oh, what?
So you really don't have anything to
Yeah,
plug,
I don't have
really.
anything going on right
Not
now.
really, not now.
Check us out, Improv, the first Friday and Saturday of each month, the
and,
Rises Theater.
Yeah, this May is going to be.
be May.
It's gonna be May.
May the 4th.
Is May the 4th.
So it's gonna be Star Wars
and
themed
nerdy.
improv.
And it's free comic book day, guys, on May 4th.
The Friday, the first Friday
The first
thing is.
Saturday of the month is
the 4th?
free. Yes, is May the 4th. And
Wow, that's
it's
perfect.
free comic book day. And Saturday, aka tomorrow, no one will probably hear this by then, is free record store day. So go buy your
Is it
local
really?
record
Oh,
store.
shit.
They give you a free record,
They have
What does
certain
that
ones
mean?
that
They
you can
have
pick
certain
from.
Oh, okay.
ones, and then you can get them. But
and the comic books, it's like the ones you've never heard of, like Ketchup
no,
Boy or
no,
Mustard Girl.
No. It's like the new event. They'll probably have an Avengers to talk about
Okay.
Yeah.
Endgame.
There's a lot of like really good.
There'll be a Captain Marvel.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like Archie and Jughead, like classics.
It's all ages, all different types, and
It's
you
ageist.
ages.
All ages.
Is the only comic book place Bankston's here?
That's the only one you need to go to.
Okay, sorry, I
Yes,
forgot you owned it.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
but no, but it is
Bankston's.
the only one, really.
It is.
Yeah.
I think you could go to like Barnes and Noble, but why would you do that?
Why would you do that to yourself? Get the hell out
go
of my
to
life, Barnes and
Bankston's? Those
Noble.
people are wonderful. I love you, Bankston's. You know it.
All right. Anything else?
That's
you
it.
good? All right.
Nope.
I got nothing as usual. I'm just trying to make it to the end of the school year. That's it.
Woo,
That's
the
all
end
I'm
is
trying
near.
to. Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, you guys. We'll catch y'all next time right here on the Weekly Act. See ya.
That was awesome.
Thanks for listening to the Weekly Yak.
No, sir, I didn't like it.
Check us out at weeklyyak.com. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Lighthouses rule.
And subscribe to us on iTunes.
Keep looking up, because that's where it all is.